I used to work for Simon. He and I planted a church in Naremburn, Camaray, off St Thomas in North Sydney, and now it's been sort of donned as one of the fastest growing, great examples of growth and ministry. That's since I left and Simon left. Simon, what were you before you were a minister?
I had 1 year as a high school teacher.
Okay, and back then, thinking of high school teaching, were you thinking of, were you Christian? Were you thinking of ministry? And how did you get out of teaching?
I became a believer in my last year of school. I was pretty keen for full-time ministry from then. I did 1 year of teaching, which I really liked, and I would have stayed teaching for a long time. But I went through university on a war widow pension because my father died as a result of the war. And I cheekily wrote to the war widow pension people and said, I'm thinking of going to Bible college. Would you help me at Bible college? And they said, if you don't have more than a year's break in your tertiary studies, we'll pay all your fees, all your books, and all your living allowance. So I basically went to Moore College with all my fees, books, and living allowance. It was just too good an offer. So I hopped out of teaching after 1 year.
Wow. Okay. Who do you live with?
I live with my wife, Kathy.
Okay. And which dependents have you supported?
We have 3 children, girl, boy, and the boy comes home on weekends from Moore College.
Good. Okay.
Which is irritating, but...
irritating that you're still there.
No, it's lovely to see him.
Okay. This is a little book that you are familiar with, and we often give out your grief little booklet, and there's 2 more of these for family and for youth. I think for kids. Is there another one? You don't know.
Somebody in Armidale has done one for youth.
Okay.
So there's adults, children and youth.
Now, why do you publish little books?
Because I run out of ideas after a few pages. If you get all my books and stack them on top of each other, you can push them under a closed door.
Why Short Steps for Long Gains? Can you explain this book?
Well, I started to meet with men, and I found myself talking with them firstly about assurance, and then I started to talk to them about how they were reading their Bible, what their relationship with Christ was like, how they were going as a disciple, were they doing any evangelism, did they get good fellowship, were they growing? And I thought, well, this is A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and I just kept going, and the whole book just vomited out. And I ended up with 26 subjects.
And X?
I can't remember. I think
X is exciting?
X I think is exercise.
Right.
In its place. Bodily training is of some value, godliness of value in every way.
So for men who can't spell exercise, fantastic book for you and all of us. Okay, Simon, most embarrassing moment, or a embarrassing moment you care to share?
I've been asked this so many times. Have you heard me tell this before? I'm sorry if you have. But when I was at Layla Park, I took a wedding which was a very tense wedding for a girl who was not liked by the groom's family to a groom who was not liked by the bride's family. And it was a kind of Middle Eastern wedding, and it was tense. When the time came to go out the back and take the photos, everybody was standing round. The temperature was about -40, and the groom was standing there and the bride, and I was standing there, and I was handing the certificate to them for the photograph, and it reminded me of a rugby front row, and I casually said, she looks a little bit like a hooker, doesn't she? And things just got worse. Yeah. So.
Slightly lost in translation.
Yeah.
2013, has it been a regular year for you? What's been a highlight? What's been a low light?
I think the highlight is that the Lord continues to sustain us. People come and seek and find. I think it's just been a general thing, nothing very special. We're blessed with a very harmonious team and wardens and council and congregation, so we're just thankful for big general things, I think.
And what's been tough about last year?
My wife has had a battle with cancer, and so she's had 2 lots of surgery. That's been quite demanding. I have an old mother who's got dementia, and we've got my wife Kathy has 2 parents who are extremely frail, like can't walk 10 metres. So looking after the older wife beside, thinking of children, congregation, I think it's been a lot to think about.
And you mentioned to me that you've been thinking about prayer. I thought you might have had that sorted, but tell us what you've been thinking about.
Well, during the break, I collected a few of the books that I hadn't read, and a lot of them were on the subject of prayer. Paul Miller, A Praying Life, The Puritans, Taking Hold of God, a book by Gerald Bray on the Lord's Prayer, and a book by E.M. Bounds. And I just decided to read them all as a way of lifting my delight in prayer, confidence in prayer, enthusiasm for prayer, and it's had a great effect. So I'm trying to share that with the congregation with a series of sermons.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And then today, from the front here, Simon's going to be speaking on John 14 and John 16. And then in elective time, we'll be looking, if you want to go to Simon's elective, highly recommended, because I'm one of the other elective people. It'll be on John 15, so that should be a rich feast.
The aim of the John 15 is this sort of walk with Christ, how to take that out of the doldrums. Yeah.
Walking with Christ. So grab a seat.